rendering a dynamic title, right, that is being declared as a variable in the class, as a class variable right here, right? But not only strings, but I can also declare arrays, right? Maybe I can say an array of courses, right? And here I might have a course that has different unique identifiers with different titles. So this is course A. And then this might be B, C, and D, right? And on the HTML side, I can reference these variables, right? So for instance, I might say here, I might say courses dot length, right? And this would render and tell me that there are 4 courses in there, right? So I can reference those variables there. I could also iterate over them, right? I might have here a UL, and in here I might have an LI where I might want to copy and paste this LI multiple times, one for each object inside of that array. Okay. Now in React, you would probably, what you do is you would have curly brackets, which would put you back in JavaScript. You would iterate over it using map, right? And then you would return multiple copies of the LI. Here we don't have JavaScript, right? It is strongly discouraged, right, that you would go back and forth between JavaScript and HTML. Instead, what the Angular team wants you to do is to stay as much as possible within HTML, right? And what they allow you to do is that they extend the language, they extend the HTML language so that whatever you write still looks very much like HTML, right? And so what do you have in HTML? You have lots of pointy brackets, you have tags, you have attributes, you have values, right? And that's what we have in HTML. Yes. So what they do is that they add a whole bunch of other attributes that extend the language, the HTML language. So for instance, this ng4, right, is an attribute. It's a custom attribute. It's definitely not an HTML attribute. It's an attribute that is supported by the Angular framework, right? Somebody's going to parse this, is going to convert this into JavaScript, obviously, right? So this ng4 is an abstraction. It's an abstraction behind, in front of lots and lots of JavaScript that make this world, this magic happen, right? So ng4, like you might guess, what does it do? It iterates over something, right? It iterates over a collection of things. We want to iterate over the courses, right? And the way we do that, we're going to instantiate a course object. We want to, as we iterate over the courses, right, we want to bind every object in the array, right, to a local variable, right? So this is my local variable. So let course of courses, right? So what this is going to do is that it's going to bind, it's going to iterate over courses. It's going to bind each object in the array into this local variable courses, right? So if I save that and I go back, notice that I get 4 bullets. Yeah, so it's 4 empty LIs, right? 1 for each object in there. So once I have that LI, I can now reference the local variable, right, as an object, and then dereference all the attributes in there, right? So I can copy that, and then I can use the double curly bracket to reference the expression of that variable, and then look at the elements in that object, right? Each course has a title, an ID, and things like that. So if I save that, I go back and notice that I now have course A, B, C, and D. Make sense?